Alrighty, fellas, let's kick off another beautiful day of PokeMMO history. How are we doing today, fellas? Good morning, good morning. My name is Patrouski. Welcome back to another PokeMMO stream recap, your daily source of tips, tricks, news, information, and what's happening inside the PokeMMO community. I will be playing the Iron Man account today, and I will be pushing relentlessly for that Zapdos encounter that I still so desperately need. Check out new episodes weekly every single Sunday on my Iron Man account progress, an account that cannot trade nor use the GTL, but is still going to engage with endgame activities like raids upcoming and other high-end PVM. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our daily news and what's happening right now in the game. Let's bring up our little page. Beautiful. Boom. There we go. Now, we all know that Shiny War is coming. I know you're probably sick of me talking about it, but it's a big deal. It's exciting, and it is coming up very soon, okay? It's coming up on July 10th or 11th at midnight UTC. That's actually July 10th at 8 p.m. ET, depending on your time zone, right? So, for me, Shiny Wars begins July 10th. That's in 2 days. We are 2 days watching the stream recap. It's 1 day. We are 1 or 2 days away from Shiny Wars, man. That's fucking exciting. And with the new Shiny Wars live leaderboard, I can't wait for it, man. It's gonna be beautiful to wake up every single morning, check the live leaderboard, see who's doing what, who's where, you know, how's it going, how's the competition. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's the Shiny War stuff covered. Let's continue onward. A Growlithe catching event is coming up tomorrow on the 9th, or if the stream recap today. So make sure to watch the recap early to never miss out on these catch events. July 9th at 1 p.m. ET, Route 5 in Kanto. Growlithe, Vulpix, all these cool mons over there. And then there is a shiny Growlithe prize to try to win. Very beautiful shiny. Not the hardest shunt in the world, but not the easiest either. Usually like a nighttime, daytime kind of shunt if you want to do it efficiently. So a really good one to win for free alongside some 1000 RP. Plus, if you shiny hunt your own Growlithe, you're not going to get these kind of stats. A 3x31, 3x28, a competitive Arcanine, you know, that's a little bit different. And then next up, on the 11th of July, is a shiny Snubble catch event at 5 p.m. ET, Route 34, Johto. This is on Friday. Snubble, bunch of other mons, and shiny Snubble. I love shiny Snubble. Very fucking cool Pokemon. This is coming up on this Friday. Check that out, or be square. All right, next up, we have suggestion box stuff / like general discussion. This is a really big deal. As someone who has shiny hunted for Shedinja, this is really interesting. Let me lay some groundwork, okay? Actually, no, you know what? Disco Shiba lays the ground. Let's just read what he has to say. This post is called, "You can actually shiny hunt Shedinja without having to log out / log in over and over again." Now, if you don't know what that means, don't worry, he explains it. I'm not sure if someone found this mechanic yet, but I'm going to share it just in case. Usually, players who shiny hunt Shedinja log in and back out, log out and back in to make the shiny hunt much faster. I have done this method in the past in certain Shiny Wars. The issue isn't the evolution animation, but rather all the moves that it learns which consumes a lot of time when it's evolving. If you don't know, Nincada is a very weird Pokemon. The way to evolve Nincada, well, you evolve it normally by leveling at 20, but when you evolve Nincada, let me show this really quick. When you evolve Nincada, as long as you have an empty party space with a Pokeball in your bag, it will split off into a separate Pokemon, Shedinja. In PokeMMO, you cannot evolve a shiny Nincada and get a shiny Shedinja guaranteed. That's how it works in traditional Pokemon, but that doesn't work in PokeMMO because we have shiny breeding, right? If that was the case in PokeMMO, then you could essentially have infinite shiny Shedinjas, if that makes sense. If it worked the same way it did in PokeMMO that it did in traditional Pokemon, you could evolve a shiny Nincada into a shiny Ninjask, and then also get a shiny Shedinja, and then buy a shiny, breed that Ninjask down into a Nincada, and do it all over again, effectively getting infinite Shedinjas, which would be really funny and weird, right? So instead, Shedinja operates on its own individual role. Every single time you spawn or create a Shedinja, it can be shiny. It's one of the nichest, most interesting shiny hunts in all of Pokemon, in my personal opinion. So you have to evolve 30,000 Nincadas to get a chance for a shiny Shedinja. Let's keep reading. Coincidentally, I just found a way to skip all of the learn move animations without having to log out. When the learn move starts, after giving the XP candies, you used to use Tentacruel Hordes, now you use XP candies, you just start spectating a PvP game, and it will skip all of the learn move animations. I would love to test this myself. I don't know the best way to like spectate a game, but this is really fucking interesting. I don't know if, I'm not sure. Now, this might still not be the best method. Like, to me, my skepticism is it might still be better to log in and log out, or log out and log in is what, yeah, log out and log back in, unfortunately, which spams team chat. People actually talk about that. Yeah, it's super, super interesting. It's very, very interesting. It's a weird situation, but if this works, it's a really cool option for other players, in my personal opinion. Thank you for the sub, Bam. What's up? Twitch Prime. Next up, we have more suggestion box stuff. This is from Blaze BLK. And he simply, I think he's on the right track, and I wanted to use his forum post as a talking point, even though I may not personally agree with the methodology which he chooses to achieve that goal. So he talked about, Blaze says, do something to get people to play more UU and NU. I mean, I agree. I would love to see UU and NU get more love, especially NU. I love NU as a tier. I haven't played it actively in a very long time, and I'm not very familiar with the current NU, and that's part of, you know, I'm an old school NU player who loved NU, who has fallen off of NU, and I'll explain why. He says, I think they should put some sort of temporary bonus in the PvP tiers, such as giving double BP for 1 month. Yeah, I personally don't think increasing the rewards for PvP is the way to get people into PvP. That's always been my take. I think PvP rewards should be something. PvP rewards should not be amazing, in my opinion, and don't need to be amazing. The benefit, the fun of PvP should be PvP itself. People getting into PvP for the rewards, in my opinion, aren't going to last, and they aren't going to enjoy PvP. They're going to be too frustrated. It's like getting into, like, ever played League of Legends or Overwatch ranked, but you play only for, like, your elo, only for, like, your rank, your SR? That shit's not fun. That quickly, like, drives you down a path of insanity. You have to actually enjoy the game itself, right? So, in my opinion, I think raising the rewards is not the way to get people into these tiers. Although I do firmly believe that getting more people into UU and NU is really important, especially NU. I think, I mean, I just love NU. My problem is, I can speak from personal experience as someone who used to play a ton of NU back in the day. NU to me doesn't feel like NU anymore. It doesn't feel like we have any lower tiers now in PokeMMO. All of the lower tiers are just extensions of OU. The power levels are so high in lower tiers, they don't feel like lower tiers anymore. When you have powerful Pokemon like Darmanitan, Salamence, and UU, NU, you have Arcanine, Hitmontop, Rotom base form's kind of cool. That's a, you know, Electros, Druddigon. These are like OU Pokemon in different generations. Steelix, Zoroark, Quillfish, Blastoise. Seeing Blastoise in NU blows my mind because I used to use Wartortle with Eviolite as a valid Rapid Spin option back in the day, as it was one of the few Pokemon in NU that learned Rapid Spin. Now, power creep is going to happen. I don't mean to sit here and like, and this is really just like, things are different. So I'm not trying to say like NU is bad right now because there's all these powerful Pokemon. These kind of Pokemon being the Pokemon in NU is actually totally fine. It's really just personal preference. However, I do think it is bad to have so many Pokemon stuffed into one tier. Something I've been pushing for an extremely long time in PokeMMO is the adding of the RU and PU tiers, which are extra tiers which alleviate some of the pressure and stress of other tiers in Pokemon and allows things to be more dispersed. The beautiful part of tiers in Pokemon is that tiers allow not the most powerful Pokemon to shine, if that makes sense. The more tiers you have, the more playable Pokemon you have. And one of the coolest parts about Pokemon is everybody's attached to certain different Pokemon, right? I love Shuckle, I love Stunfisk, and I don't expect those Pokemon, like I don't expect Stunfisk to be usable in PvP. I do love Rampardos. Rampardos I have used in lower tiers of PvP to like decent success at times. Shuckle I used to use really solid success all the time back in the day in PokeMMO, and I don't expect to reach that same level of success, but it'd be nice if Shuckle was usable in something like PU, a much lower tier. When tons of people's favorite Pokemon aren't usable at all in PvP, I do think it really hurts the interest, people wanting to play them, right? So in OU, we have, what is it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 per row, if I counted correctly. 24, 36. We have about 40 Pokemon in all of OU. 40 Pokemon, right? UU, you have about 12, 24, 48, and then let's say, you know, 55-ish mons. And NU, we have, okay, oh, Patrouski, it's only 12, 24, 36. No. It's also all of this. You end up with like 500 Pokemon all stuffed into one tier. because NU also filters into untiered, and technically, obviously, you can use all these mons in higher tiers, but why would you, right? They're going to be less powerful unless there's like the perfect spot for your team. Some mons can be the perfect fit for perfect teams, don't get me wrong, or in like certain rain teams or in certain compositions. I get it, right? But all of these mons get left behind. All of these Pokemon end up being borderline unusable because Magmortar can't stand up against Arcanine, right? Like, Emboar can't beat Arcanine. There's so many fire types that are stuck in the trenches because they cannot beat Arcanine. The same with like Hitmontop. There's so many fighting types that are stuck in these dog shit trenches because they just can't outbeat Hitmontop. Hitmontop is just better. Pokemon are supposed to be different, but there are Pokemon that are just better, right? Primeape will almost never be usable in NU because it's just not good enough. It's just, the power is just too weak. But if we had RU and PU to distribute the power levels more accurately, I think, I'd always argue, it would create for more interesting, better play, and more fun lower tiers of Pokemon PvP. It's not, I analyze it as OU is really popular, right? OU is really popular. Randoms is really popular. UU and NU both aren't popular. If it was just one of them, that would be a different sign. But to me, if both of the lower tiers are unpopular, that seems to me as an unbalance of there's just too many Pokemon stuffed into these tiers. That's just my personal opinion. Now, I want to counter argument my own opinion so people don't think that I just think, oh, it's so obvious, we should just add RU and PU. That is not the case. I think it's really complicated, and there are good arguments on both sides. The easy counter argument is that adding RU and PU might actually increase, or probably would, increase queue times even longer, right? Because then you split your player base among different tiers even more. My counter argument to that would be that I think making the game more balanced and fun and interesting would actually, and have more of people's favorite Pokemon be playable, would increase interest enough to outweigh that fact, and actually more people would be playing PvP. I would be playing a lot more PvP if there was RU and PU in PokeMMO. I can guarantee that. That's my personal thoughts. That was a really long ramble about that, but I'm very passionate. I used to be an avid NU player back in the day. I'm very, very passionate about the lower tiers, so I appreciate someone trying to speak up for that. Anyways, back to our typical stream recap intro stuff. This guy wants to talk about a complete change to the roaming legendary hunt, and he gives an idea where essentially he's like, why not combine the two mechanics of the Phoebus and Latios hunt? I'm pretty neutral to this change. It's pretty known that Q has actually talked about wanting to not change, but not add more of the roaming legendaries in Pokemon. This is actually here, Chef thankfully quotes it. This is from Q, one of the head developers of PokeMMO. Like most of the raids, it's a preview thing. I'm not sure what final form these legendaries will take, but I'm definitely not wanting to introduce more roaming legendaries in their current form. Running around for X hours on the first of the month is mind-numbingly boring, and we knew it was going to be that when we introduced them. These legendaries were introduced that way primarily as a stopgap because we wanted something out of the door for Johto, released while we had peak attention. So Q has been very outspoken about not loving roaming legendaries, and this guy I respect like offers a different alternative, you know. I'm not familiar with these mechanics. I'm just gonna read what he says. The Latios hunt is possible after completing the main storyline, and their location is announced on the TV. In the original game, Phoebus can only be found on a few panels for a few hours. It's very hard to hunt because of that strategy. If you have the aforementioned points only be player specific, to me that's crucial to maintain the value of the legendary scenario. So here's an example. After beating Kanto, one would start in the player's house. There, that TV would have a new report on a giant lightning bird seen on Route 7 or whatever. Now we would know where to go for the next 24 hours. So it changes constantly. Once one would spawn, there would be time to find the tiles where the legendary would be similar to the same chance as Phoebus. The number of tiles would be a percentage of the possible tiles, so one could adjust the chance on the site of the routes. So the text is a little, okay, I'm trying to comprehend it. Yeah, TLDR, so he wants people to be able to go check the TVs, make it a little more interactive, right? Make it a little more interactive. Make it so that you have to like go to your house, check the TV, see where Zapdos is, and then have to communicate with other players. Maybe do like channel 5 or whatever. Have people hunting in the same spot, similar to Phoebus. I think it's an interesting idea. I don't know if I love it personally. It's not my favorite type of idea to replace roaming legendaries, but at least he's presenting an idea and like trying to brainstorm and trying to get some conversation, which I can really respect. Next up, okay, one last thing, boys, and this is probably the #1 crucial update that could happen outside of the game, if that makes sense. This is a non-in-game update, but probably the most important thing we could do to help PokeMMO outside of in-game updates. After the big hiatus regarding Shiny Wars rescheduling due to miscommunication, blah, 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 it's more apparent than ever that this game needs a regular dev blog. Just keep us, the community, and the GM/CMs informed. Trust me, you will dodge these hiccups in the future. This is how I feel. This has been, I think a lot of the problems in PokeMMO would be avoided if we had better communication with the devs. I think things like a dev blog, even every week or so, or even once a month, even once every 3 months would be divine. Once every 3 months, where they're like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is the problems we're looking at. Like, also, it's really nice when like buffs or nerfs happen. If they say 3 months ahead of time, hey, we're looking into like netball, it might be too strong. I think that would have lessened the blow for a lot of people when the netball nerf came. A lot of people were very upset by the netball nerf, even though I called it like an hour ago, or no, sorry, like a year before, like 6 months to a year before the nerf happened. A lot of people who aren't as entrenched in the game and don't play the game every single day and maybe just bought 400 netballs didn't know that, right? And that's what's tough. That's what's tough. So I think it's really important if we had an official communication. The same with an old school RuneScape. I always compare to old school RuneScape. Very, very similar games, old school RuneScape and PokeMMO. Old school RuneScape, they do like a weekly or monthly dev blog where they just share, hey, here's what we're working on, here's what we're thinking about, here's the current updates. Like, I think that you don't have to release an update very often, but just the communication of just being like, hey, this is what we're looking at, this is what we're thinking about, or like just letting the players know that they see the same problem. I think a big reason conspiracy theories, and I hate it. I hate that in the PokeMMO community, I have to debunk so many conspiracy theories and so much paranoia. I think a big part of it comes from the devs not communicating. So I empathize with the players who feel paranoid because of that, right? If the staff were like, hey, we're looking at this, we're thinking about this, as opposed to just ignoring it, I think it would help a lot of the problems and a lot of the worries that players have. A lot of players don't know if the devs see the same things that we do, right? The in-game, I think they do a pretty good job, and I like to be charitable. I think sometimes gamers lack a lot of charitability and understanding that others are on the right path and aren't stupid, you know? I think I try to encourage that, but communication would help. There's always like ways to improve that, if that makes sense. So just the devs being like, hey, we've seen a lot of these like shiny bugs, for example, that are impacting players not being able to catch shinies. We are working on it. We just haven't found a fix yet. That would be amazing. That would be so fucking... And obviously, the problem is you will get some players who are like, wow, I can't believe you haven't found a fix yet. Shit, devs. And it's like, to those players, like, fuck you. I'm sorry, but fuck you. You hurt the game. You make it harder for us to have this kind of dev blog and communication. You are literally just dragging us down. Stop doing that. It's okay to be like, man, I'm really frustrated that there's bugs in the game that have literally prevented people like Energy from catching shinies they should have gotten. That's like the Shiny Matang situation. That's really horrible. That's really fucked up, and I really, really hate that that exists. However, I'm not a developer. I don't know how difficult that is to fix, and I can understand and be charitable that it's these people's job to do so. I'm going to bet they're a lot better at it than I would be, and they're doing something that I can't possibly do. So understanding that and being charitable to that is very, very important. But at the same time, I wish they would communicate and be like, hey, we see that it's a problem. We're working on it. I think that would like ease so much stress in so many worries, right? So that's my thoughts on this. Very, very long intro to the stream recap today, but I think a worthwhile one, hopefully. Hopefully you guys enjoy today's stream and enjoy the stream recaps. If you do, like the video. As always, it helps out tremendously, and subscribe for daily PokeMMO videos. I'm going to get into running down the Zapdos. I will see you guys, I'm sure, very soon with some good chat questions. I see why you wanted me to check this out. Holy shit. Someone in chat said, go to the GTL and look at 2015 shinies and click on the Rattata. This is listed for 200 million Pokeyen for reference on the GTL. 200 million Pokeyen for a 2015 shiny seems kind of high, doesn't it, right? Silphco level. So what's so insane about this? Okay, I love the stored power. Holy shit. This is an insane let me explain. I'm getting too distracted. This has every single limited Oh my god, this has like the rarest limited effects, and only those effects in the entire game. On top of it, it was achieved at level 1 at Silphco. Do you know why this is? Who knows why? The reason why is because Silphco used to be where tournaments were held in PokeMMO before automated tournaments. So, if you were spawned in a shiny from the developers or staff members of the game because you won a tournament, it would be met at Silphco at level 1. This has the Squirtle OT, which is also one of the head devs of PokeMMO. So this is a shiny Pokemon that was an event prize back in 2015. With Squirtle OT and some of the rarest particles in the game. This is really fucking cool. That is an extremely cool piece of PokeMMO history. Okay, I want to preface by saying that I could be wrong. I've seen a lot of people say this, and I'm pretty sure it's not true from what the devs have said. Someone in chat said, you're phrasing it as, I have a theory, using lures might actually lower your chance of finding Zapdos. Legends only appear in single battles. That is not true. From my understanding, I could be mistaken. From my understanding, the way it works is each encounter has a singular chance to roll for Zapdos, and the Zapdos overtakes the encounter, right? So whether you're getting a wild ×5 horde, from my understanding, you don't get 5 individual rolls. But if you get a random wild ×5 horde, Zapdos has that same 1 in 5,000 chance to replace the encounter. If you're getting wild ×5 hordes or double encounters from the lures, from my understanding, what the devs have said on the forums, it is not lowering your encounter to get a Zapdos. Zapdos does not only come from single encounters, it just overtakes the encounter and turns it into a single encounter. I appreciate like you're thinking about it. You would only know what I'm saying if you spend way too much time on the PokeMMO forums and like read everything the devs fucking say. So like Pete, I respect you, like you're using good logic and you are coming to good conclusions, but from what we've been told from the devs, from very specific mechanics, the double things shouldn't matter from my understanding. I like the way you think, Josh. It is possible we see more legendaries added to PokeMMO this year during the event season, similar to last year. Last year, we got Heatran, Darkrai, and Alpha Suicune, and Jirachi. Those were all, I believe, like late 2024 and 2025 editions, if I'm not mistaken. This year, it's possible they bring back like Alpha Entei, as like it's possible we see another Alpha legendary beast. It would be weird to introduce Alpha Suicune and then not any of the other ones. So it's an interesting idea. No, yeah, unpopular opinion, but I really didn't like the Alpha Suicune raid from the last holiday season. I don't think it's even that unpopular of opinion. I could be wrong. The problem with the Suicune raid was that it was ridiculously hard, and you needed very specific Pokemon for a very limited time raid. So people actually saw a comment recently. How difficult are the other raids compared to Heatran? I think Heatran is the most difficult raid in PokeMMO by far. If you've done Heatran, you should be able to do the holiday raids like pretty easily. However, the massive difference is you have infinite time to do Heatran. You have infinite time to prepare, find a team, etc. The most difficult part that I think a lot of players aren't ready for when it comes to the holiday season is you have 2 weeks to do 14 raids, and those raids release 1 raid a day for the first 12 days. So you have to be on top of your shit. The hard part with the Suicune raid was like Suicune dropped like in the middle of the event season, and everybody was like already focused on doing the other raids, and it was like, okay, Suicune took me 3 hours to do for reference, and that was like after creating the Pokemon for it or whatever, right? So maybe like a 5 to 6 hour thing just for that, and that was in the middle. That was for that one raid in the middle of the event, and it was, you had to like find a team sporadic. Like it's really, you have to be on top of your game during event season to be able to do everything. I really encourage players, you have to go into event season understanding you aren't going to be able to do everything. You have to cut your losses. You most likely won't be able to do. I don't think I can do everything as a content creator who plays this game full time. You're gonna have to accept the fact and prioritize, like, okay, the Wisp thing with the hell, maybe I just don't do that. Like, you might have to accept the fact very early on, or decide very early on, what things do you want to do and what things do you not want to do. If you want to prepare for this even further, I strongly recommend checking out last year's Halloween event playlist. I have playlist on my YouTube. I wish playlists were easier to advertise. YouTube does not recommend playlists very well, but if you go to my YouTube channel and you go to playlist, you can like Control F or search through the channel, search for Halloween, and you can find a playlist for every single event that I've ever recorded for and ever done guides for, prep guides for, videos for. Find every single video ever done on each event from previous years. So watching last year's Halloween content is the best way to prepare for this one's before it comes out. And obviously I'll do a future guides when it releases this year. I have heard in regards to Shiny Wars through a little birdie that top teams have 20,000 plus Dittos stockpiled on alt accounts per players. As a member of Team Mister, I cannot confirm nor deny. All I can say is that people do go fucking crazy for Shiny War, and that there have been people, you have to keep in mind, there have been people who have been prepping for this Shiny War since not even the end of last war, but since the middle of last war. Like, there were people who last year got into the middle of Shiny Wars and were like, okay, my team's not going to win. I'm going to start prepping now for next year. There are people who have been prepping for Shiny Wars for like 13 months. You have to keep that in the back of your head, which is a scary thing to keep in the back of your head. You have to be willing to compete for this kind of event. Yo, congrats to Tarek. It's not my Zapdos, but a viewer who is active in chat, who is also hunting Zapdos right next to me, got his Zapdos. Congratulations, man. You love to see it. Good luck on the catch. It's something, man. Congratulations, dude. I'm gonna hunt right next to you and see if I can get one back to back. Let's see. Dude 29, you're spitting facts. How do we know the raids won't change by the time they release? We don't. I try to always, there's ways you can prepare for the upcoming event season. However, in every single event guide that I've ever made, I always say, hey, there's a chance this changes. This is just basing, the preparation based on last year, right? The events change a little bit every year, and it's a matter of how much. Certain things change a fair bit. The pumpkin boss, for example, like changes very, very little, at least the easy mode. I've been using the same Crocodile Chandelure Typhlosion strat on the pumpkin boss for like 4 years. Like, there are things that change very, very, almost never or minimally, but you go based on history, right? Raids did not change much between 2023 and 2024, but changed a lot from 2022, if I recall. Or were they even in the game back there? Was it 2023? Raids were vehemently different when they first released, but then changed once in a big way to be more DPS focused versus setup focused with like Hone Claws. When raids first released, Hone Claws, Metagross, and Stored Power Uniclus were meta, but they rebalanced them and made it so that DPS was actually better for raids. So, and then ever since that change happened, DPS has been good for raids for most things. So you don't know for sure that your prep for this year will be like correct, but it's just the only thing you can do, and it's usually pretty darn accurate is what I would say. Someone asked, how do I cook my hot dogs? Okay, I've been eating a fair bit of hot dogs. They had a really good sale on hot dogs for 4th of July. Welcome to the FoodTrouski take of the day. Obviously, we all agreed grilling is probably the best way to cook a hot dog, okay? I can't, it's too much effort for me to I can't go grill a hot dog in 1 minute stretch break on stream, right? Boiled hot dogs are the best. You should be neurologically studied. So grilling is the best. The second best, in my opinion, by far, sounds crazy, I'm a microwave guy. It sounds dumb, but a microwave pops and bursts and makes the hot dog get all, it sweats the dog. It makes the hot dog get all juicy, and like it pops the grease, it spreads the grease all over the dog, thus enhancing the flavor. It's almost like salting itself, right? It's honestly so good. Microwave over fire. To be fair, I don't usually factor in like a campfire as a way to cook a hot dog or a way to traditionally cook food. If we're counting everything, it would be like, it might be campfire rank 1. It's grill or campfire, might be grilling rank 1, campfire rank 2, microwave rank 3. I rank microwave higher than on the stovetop, because I don't think stovetop gets the juices flowing the way the microwave does, and I don't think it's worth the time and the effort for it. If I'm eating a hot dog, do I really want to fucking cook it on the stovetop like that? I respect you if you do it. It's a hot dog, bro. It's like $1. It's like, what are we doing? I'm a microwave guy. I love a wet, sloppy, quick microwaved hot dog for lunch. Ketchup and mustard, relish if I got it in the fridge. That's my dog order, man. Great question. Wait, this is really funny. Something is happening with the Shiny Wars leaderboard. I don't know if it's broken or maybe they're just testing something. I don't know what's going on, to be fair. I'm not gonna, make a claim. Nobody really knows what's going on. But the score is going up. They might just be testing. Yeah, they might just be testing. Shiny Wars starts in 2 days. It makes sense. But the scores are changing. Congrats to ETG Team 1 in the lead. Like this, I don't know if it's just random or what's happening. But different teams have scores. They are testing. There's 97 teams registered, which is up from earlier today. Also, I didn't realize you could go in and actually see, if you click on the teams, I didn't know you could go see individual players. I had no idea. I didn't even do this yet. And I'm like intensely, like, you know, Field Team 7. I'm like involved in Shiny War and watching it. You know, I didn't know this. Effie, is that Effie Burke? Messi? Coates? Kuroshi? Bong? Okay, this is a good team. Field Team 7's looking fucking good, bro. This is a good team. Blue. Like, this might be the team that I'm rooting for. Field Team 7 is looking good, man. Looking stacked. Optic, let's go see. I don't know if this is like shinies that they have. Shinies they've caught since the start of the leaderboard. I don't think so. I feel like this is just like testing or something. I don't know. But it's Palacros. There we go. It's weird to see, man. I don't know what's happening. They're testing. Something's going on. I'm excited to see how it you know, continues to unravel. Something's happening. That's all we can say for sure right about now. Okay, wait. This is not a movie Trouski. This is a TV show Trouski take, but I have one of the all-time great takes to drop, okay? This take might be my new hot take. And I haven't finished the show yet. I'm literally at the final 2 episodes of season 3, which are supposed to be the best 2 episodes of the entire show. But I started watching Invincible recently, okay? And me and my wife have watched seasons 1, seasons 2, and almost all of season 3. We're right at the end, okay? This is basically our movie Trouski, TV show Trouski for the day. I am vehemently disappointed by Invincible. I am really bummed. I thought this show was supposed to be really, really good. It has really good reviews. I am so sad. I'm like actually like devastated. I was really expecting Invincible to be an amazing show, but season 1 was like an 8 out of 10. This is a spoiler-free review, so it's a big spoiler show. Season 1 was quite good. The start is very strong at opening to a mystery. It ends interestingly, but it's one of those mystery things where they don't really answer any questions. It just ends interestingly, but it keeps you... Well, there's so many shows that keep you interested just long enough to keep you going, but it's not... They don't really answer enough questions. The season 1 is very good. It's like an 8 out of 10. But it's not, people act like it's a 9 or a 10. Like, there's so many better shows. Season 2 was a solid 4 out of 10. Invincible has the worst pacing and disconjumbled, conjoined storyline I've ever seen in a piece of media, where there are good plots. The show feels like filler constantly. It's a superhero show, and they constantly just go fight random villains to never introduce them ever again, to never expand on their backstories. They introduce characters just to kill them off in the same episode constantly, which is like a massive like TV show media like sin. If you intro a TV show with like a flashback to the backstory of a character, you instantly know they're killing them in that episode, and it's so fucking lazy. You didn't introduce that character previously. You didn't like let me get emotionally attached. You're introducing them just to kill them, or just to, it's so fucking obvious, and it's such bad writing, and I'm so unimpressed, and I'm so sad with Invincible. Season 2 was a solid 4 out of 10. It all comes 360. I'm at the comic, maybe, to be fair, maybe like the overall story is really good. Season 1, 8 out of 10. Season 2, 4 out of 10. Season 3 is also a 4 out of 10 right now. It's not good, but the final 2 episodes are coming up, so I'm really hoping they save it. I understand that it's based off a comic show, but it's still your job. You can't be like, oh, it's a comic book, so that excuses all pacing problems. It's still your job to like reformat the story to fit to a show. Like, I don't know what to tell. Like, that's on you. Like, you have to that's such a lazy excuse in my opinion. I've seen that a lot in the community. I'm really disappointed by Invincible. Maybe the comic is amazing, but the show has been so disappointing to me. That's all I'll say. I hope we have the final 2 episodes of season 3 to watch. I'm hoping they get better, but man, dude, there's some cool characters, but they just like don't spend time with them. They give way too much time to characters like Rex, who's like the shittiest, most uninterested. I don't care. Like, they give like so much of the airtime to a fuckboy. Like, what are we doing? I'm so unimpressed. I'm so disappointed by Invincible personally. Okay, I think that is almost frustratingly where I'm gonna call it today. I am losing my mind over this legendary dry streak, and I'm not trying to. I am complaining, so apologies. It just sucks. So the reality is, I love this game. I love PokeMMO so much. Sometimes you go dry on stuff. This account has been so lucky overall. It was bound to happen that I go unlucky on something. It's totally deserved. Going dry on legendary is honestly deserved. It still just sucks. Is that fair? That's kind of the stage that I'm at. So I'm about 17,000 encounters dry for a legendary over the past 2 months, for those who are wondering. And I'm going to keep running back and forth and keep hunting and keep going for it. But I need a break from stream. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. It was a beautiful stream. A lot covered today. A nice long stream, 6-hour stream. Like the video if you enjoyed the recap. Dislike if not. Subscribe on YouTube for daily PokeMMO videos. Follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below. If you want to go above and beyond and support my content, YouTube membership, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, you guys know the drill. Just have a great day. HelloFresh is 50% off using the link in the description. But just good luck in your PokeMMO grinds. All I'm going to leave you guys with. And I'm excited for Shiny Wars to start super soon. So for now, I'll see you guys later. Peace, Reno. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here. And I wanted to take this time to say thank you to everyone who goes above and beyond and supports my channel. Your names are all listed here. You make it possible for me to make helpful and mildly entertaining content for the game that I love and make it available for free for everyone to enjoy. Thank you so much for allowing me to even be here.